Hey everybody, good morning. How are we doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm Kathy Bateman
I'm Paula
and we're from Migration Team Australia, just in case you didn't know. So look, welcome everybody and thank you for joining us or downloading or watching this Facebook Live a little bit later in the day or the week. Paula and I, we were talking a couple of weeks ago and we realised that we're getting a number of questions from clients continuously. They're pretty general questions. So we thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to do some Facebook Lives to cover a couple of topics that come up again and again.
So that's general information.
Just general information, exactly, yeah.
And if you want some specifics regarding your personal circumstances, just please contact us. We can have a consultation, one-to-one, 1 hour consultation. We've got 2 offices, one in Marang, one in Tweed Heads, but we also do Skype consultations as well if you're not local.
Absolutely. So if we remember, we're just going to touch on some of the main topics of partner visas in particular today. And over the next few weeks, we're going to cover a couple of different topics. If we don't get to the specifics, bear in mind each case is unique. And that's where, as Paula says, it's great for you to get in touch with us directly and we can help you on a personal level. All right. So not knowing where everybody's level is, just giving you a general overview. Partner visas, when you're lodging a partner visa application, obviously, clearly you need to be in a relationship with an Australian. That's the biggest and most helpful start. When you're lodging a partner visa application, you actually lodge for 2 subclasses at the same time. So when you make that initial application, you're assessed under 2 subclasses. We'll come to onshore versus offshore in a moment, whether you lodge onshore as in Australia or offshore as in outside Australia. We'll come to that in a second. But generally speaking, most people go to the temporary stage of the partner visa process first. That is, of course, unless they meet the definition of a long-term relationship. Now, immigration's definition of a long-term relationship may not be the same as you and I. Their definition, as far as the legislation is concerned, is 3 years togetherness, and this is immediately prior to lodging the application, or 2 years plus a child that's been born of the relationship. So that gives you an indication as to sometimes why some people go to the temporary stage and others sometimes go to the permanent stage. So that can be useful to know. Also, you've got the issue of making the decision about lodging, whether offshore or onshore. As Paula and I often say, it really relates to your personal circumstances. Some people basically, want to lodge offshore because they have reasons. They might have work commitments or family commitments outside Australia, whereas others are already here and have no intention of leaving. So in those circumstances, it's pretty straightforward, whether you lodge here or not. Our general preference when we meet clients is to lodge onshore if you can, assuming you have an intention to be in Australia, mainly because that gives you the advantage of being together inside Australia. If you're lodging correctly and you've met the legal requirements, then you can usually, not always, but usually, and you have to be eligible to lodge the onshore, you can obtain the bridging visa, which will have nil conditions, which means you can work. Study, yeah, exactly. Contribute to the household that you're living together with your partner. But there are circumstances where we do lodge offshore partner visas, and it really depends on your personal circumstances.
And immigration will look at the 4 aspects of the relationship. So we have financials, we have social, we have commitment of the relationship, and household of the relationship. Generally speaking, it is advisable to provide evidence of these 4 aspects. So, for example, just give some type of evidence that you can provide. For financials, you can provide joint bank statements or joint credit card. For social, generally speaking, photos of the relationship, letters from family and friends as well. And the commitment, we talk about love story, we talk about superannuation, we talk about will, if you have a will. Household, it's all about joint bills, so electricity, telephone, etc. Again, it's advisable to try to cover all these 4 areas, because sometimes case officers are very, very strict and they want to see evidence of these 4 areas. Okay,
for sure. And what's useful to know on that particular topic, where you're trying to cover the 4 particular areas, where you're lacking in one for whatever reason, you've really got to try and make up for in another. But those kind of specifics we get into in detail if we're having a consultation with you. We can break that down and help you understand, what's lacking.
When we talk about partner visas as well, the more evidence you provide, the merrier, for sure, because the case officer will assess your application based on the documents that you're providing. Immigration doesn't usually do interviews for example, onshore partner visas. They usually don't do. They used to do a long time ago, but they don't have the resources to do that now. So they are going to base their decision on the documents you provide. So the more you provide, the merrier.
Absolutely. Sure. And when clients leave our office after a consultation, or if we're working with them, they hear the same thing from us: evidence. Evidence, evidence. If you say it, prove it. Help us prove it. And we're really good at coming up with ideas that are going to help you achieve that as well.
And we follow up.
For sure. Yeah. We've had a couple of people joining us. We've had Carlos and Billy. Hey, how you going? So good to see you there. Awesome. Thanks for your support. So we've covered the 4 main areas that are concentrated within an application. That's what immigration like to see evidence of. That's the financial, the commitment, the household, and the social aspects. There's a heap more to it. There's a lot more in detail, but clearly today's Facebook Live is just to give you a flavour and some ideas on the process itself. So yeah, do get in touch if you've got any specific queries. And
so these documents, it needs to provide a time of lodgement. Okay, because you need to show immigration that you are in a genuine and continuing relationship at time of lodgement and time of decision. So it's really, really important. There are certain documents that are considered time of decision, such as medicals and police clearances. So immigration will, when they are ready to make a decision, usually they ask for those documents. We tend to tell our clients because the processing time is quite lengthy now, so we tend to tell our clients, don't do a time of application, because those types of documents, they expire. So for example, an Australian Federal Police certificate, it lasts for 12 months. Yeah. Medicals 12 months. They can be very expensive. Medical is about $380.
Yeah.
So, and if you expire, then immigration takes 24 months to process your application. They will ask again. So to save you some money, keep the cost down.
And also the hit of x-ray. Some people don't want to expose themselves to that, so it's from a medical standpoint as well.
Exactly. So, and police clearances, you will need police clearances from overseas, from any country that you live 12 months or more in the last 10 years. And since I think 2015 or 16, they start asking for police clearances from sponsors as well.
Yes, this is a big topic at the moment. Please, sorry.
No, that's it.
What we're finding is lately is that, as I say, it's a pretty new requirement for sponsors to have to provide character clearances. Prior to this, we never had to have issues about it. But what we're seeing is, misdemeanors from the past are suddenly coming back to haunt the sponsor, and it's putting everybody, because applying for a partner visa, it adds a dimension to a relationship that ordinarily would not be there. Typically, a relationship develops, and you don't tend to keep evidence. You don't tend to document, particular events and keep things. Some people do, but most people don't. And also any misdemeanors in your past generally don't come up sometimes in a relationship, but with this particular process and the sponsor having to provide the police clearances, what we're seeing is that these silly little things that might have come up in the past, and some of them may well be significant, it can add an extra pressure to an already very pressurized application process. But part of what we do is talk you through what's important, what's not important. We help keep everybody focused and calm because this is, it is a very tense process, and there's a lot on the line for everybody concerned. So that character requirement is.
Yeah, it's not mandatory for sponsors. It is for applicants, visa applicants, but it's not mandatory per se for sponsors. But we generally tell clients, if you have nothing to hide, just provide it. Sponsors, yeah,
absolutely, yeah, and immigration are requesting it more and more. So it's certainly something we suggest that is done without any shadow of a doubt. And quite often it's quite good to do those things sooner rather than later, because if we know about something before we lodge, that can usually help us with the tactic, particularly if we're talking serious crime and even a misdemeanor, something very, very small. If you tick no on a form and then we get a police document come in 6 months later and it says, oh, it should have been yes, then we've got to very quickly scramble to fix the problem because there's a public interest criteria 4020 that's very, very serious if you provided false, misleading or incorrect information. So it makes our job a little bit tougher. But look, that's the nature of the beast, and we understand that people do forget that things happen in their past. So yeah, character's an interesting one and can cause some issues there. So just to recap, generally, as far as partner visa is concerned, when you're lodging an application, you're lodging for 2 subclasses at the same time, whether that's onshore or offshore. There is the onshore or offshore options, and we recommend, if possible, onshore, particularly if you want to be in Australia and be together and be able to contribute to the household and work and things like that. I mean, who doesn't want to live in this beautiful country? We're both migrants, so we're biased. We're very biased. There are 4 main areas that Paula covered in detail pretty much about, the financial, the commitment, the household, the social aspects of your relationship. You've got to demonstrate as much as you possibly can.
Along their health and character requirements.
Health and character, yeah, and they're pretty big ones too.
And regarding the processing time, as I said before, it's quite lengthy at the moment. So if you lodge onshore, the temporary visa, it's taking about 24 to 30 months at the moment. This was extracted from immigration website as of today. You could change it at any time. And the permanent stage is taking about 16 to 23 months. Okay, so bear that in mind when you're lodging your visa application.
Yeah, that's really important, just to hone in on that. So if you're assessed and granted the temporary visa, you'll wait up to 24 months to be processed for that stage, potentially, and that's their just approximate global processing times. And then if you have to relodge for the second stage, there's no extra fee. You paid the fee, that whacking great big $7,160 to the Department of Immigration, plus the credit card surcharge, which is up to 2%. So you paid that fee and that's for both subclasses. So you don't pay a second fee at that second stage, but the processing time is approximately up to 23 months, roughly. These are all very approximate figures. So if you equate that into a potential processing period, it could be like 4 years to get the permanent residency visa.
And just one more thing that we want to talk about is refusals. So if you experience a refusal, no one likes that, of course. Just put more extra stress on the relationship, but it's not the end of the world. You can still apply for a review application at the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. The fee is $1,764 currently, and the processing time could be 3 to 24 months. Okay.
We're starting to see a lot more refusals at the moment across the board. This is not partner visa specific, but across the board, and consequently what we're expecting, and our majority of our colleagues are expecting, that the processing times for the appeal hearings is going to be extended dramatically. Refusals, the department's mood at the moment across the board is very negative. I think that's pretty obvious with all the press reports. I think globally migration has a very negative connotation attached to it. You've only got to look at America, Europe, and Australia's attitude at the moment is, in my opinion, obviously, is relatively negative. And we're seeing that with refusals coming through, not necessarily our clients, but people that we're having consultations with, they're coming to us with their refusals, and we're talking to our esteemed colleagues as well, and we're hearing it from them too. So yeah, refusals can happen, but the beauty with the onshore application is that the applicant can be the review applicant, which would then in turn continue with a bridging visa with nil conditions and allow you to work in most cases. The offshore, if you were lodging an offshore application, then you'd be looking at the sponsor as the review applicant, which would mean further separation while the application is being reviewed. And as Paula said, 3 to 24 months, but we don't know if that's going to be extended.
And usually there's a hearing, so it's not always the case, but in partners visas generally,
pretty much, yeah,
you have a hearing where you have to attend, and the sponsor, it's generally we advise the sponsor, of course, to attend the hearing as well. And yeah, hearings are interesting. Well, that'll be another topic for another day, I think, because we could talk about that forever.
I know. We've had some experiences on the hearings.
We do review applications at the AAT, so just
and just so you know, the AAT is the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, just so you know. But look, hopefully that's been helpful.
Yes. It's just general information. Yeah. If you want more specifics, more advice on what kind of evidence you should provide to support application, please contact us. Usually email is the best way, or Facebook, but usually email. Email is better. If obviously we answer calls, but if we're with people or doing Facebook Lives, as we are now, we can't take the call. But email is something that we monitor regularly and have that checked. So email is the best way. Obviously, if it's urgent, give us a call or send us a message some other way. We will get in touch. But hopefully that's been helpful. And for those of you that are downloading this a bit later and watching it later in the week, don't forget you can contact us anytime if you've got any queries. And again, we're going to do another one next week. Yes, yep. Hold fire. We shall reveal the topic for next week. It's all about suspense. Okay, so perfect. Hopefully that's been helpful, guys. And thanks so much for your support, everybody. Thanks so much, Jason and Dan and everyone who said, hey, we thank you for the support. Yeah, absolutely. And let us know if we can help. All the best. See ya. Over and out. Take care, guys.